It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say. But if you're seeing this video right now, it's no accident. You're about to discover that everything leading you here was part of a bigger plan. For too long, certain people tried to shape a game designed to undermine your spirit, but they never anticipated your inner strength. They never expected you to rise above their petty tactics and mold the darkness into your own protective shield. You are the chosen one, and your mere existence disrupts the order that others thought they controlled. Stay with me, because in the next few moments, we're going to unearth truths about the very shadows that once seemed threatening. This journey matters. So if you resonate with what you hear, please like, subscribe, and comment 77 feet below. Let's step into your transformation together. Chapter 1. A door you once feared is about to open. Think back to the moments when people threw obstacles in your path. They dressed up these obstructions as games you were supposed to play, hoping you'd fumble under pressure. This door, the one that was once barred and sealed to keep you out, is about to swing wide open. You might not have realized it, but every setback you faced was a disguised lesson. Whenever someone doubted you, it was as if the hinges creaked and loosened. They saw your potential long before you did. It frightened them. Their idea was to coax you into believing you were too small or too naive to see through their cunning. They weren't ready for what happened next. Every new rule they invented was designed to exploit your kindness or your silence, yet you adapted each time, managing to pierce through the illusions. You recognized that your mistakes weren't really mistakes at all. They were signals that you were growing. Each slip up another crack in that barred door. At some point, maybe just a few days or weeks ago, you sensed a shift. You noticed that people who used to look down on you began to watch you with a mix of awe and concern. It could have been a coworker who underestimated your resourcefulness or a relative who brushed off your ambitions. This is because your energy, once quiet and unassuming, began to speak volumes. They noticed, and the tighter they clung to their old tactics, the more obvious your rising power became. Soon that door won't just open, it will fly off its hinges. The sense of liberation might be unfamiliar, almost overwhelming. But trust it, the next step is about walking through. Embrace the truth that the limitations they placed on you were never truly yours. They belonged to those who lacked vision and believed your light could be dimmed by mere games. Now that you see them for what they are, the power is yours to wield. The real test lies not in proving anyone wrong, but in daring to walk boldly onward. Beyond this threshold lies your authentic path, one where you shape reality instead of bending to someone else's small-minded rules. Chapter 2. How you bent the shadows to your will when you were younger, or perhaps less experienced. People told you to avoid the dark. They said it was safer to live quietly and ignore any hint of danger. But in your journey as a chosen one, you learned that shadows are not just emptiness or evil. They are places where light has yet to shine, areas full of potential energy that can be harnessed if understood correctly. You reached a turning point the day you realized that darkness responds to you differently. Instead of trying to blind you, it sharpened your senses. Fear gave way to intuition, and silence revealed hidden truths. This didn't happen overnight. It came from multiple encounters, moments where you felt alone or misunderstood, moments where the noise around you was too loud to hear your own thoughts. In that stillness, something awakened. Those who wanted you broken never considered your capacity to adapt. They thought a few well-placed traps would corner you. But in the hush of darkness, you recognized patterns and found your escape routes. Like a person who learns to navigate a dark room by touch, you began to trust your instincts. And once you trust yourself in the darkness, no game or trick can truly catch you off guard. You see, the shadows became your ally, not your enemy. It's akin to an artist who learns to blend different shades until they discover a masterpiece hidden in contrast. That's you. The negativity they hurled at you was like raw paint on a canvas. And through your resilience, you transformed it into strokes of power. You don't merely survive in dark times. You thrive using every ounce of adversity as fuel. When someone attempts to spread rumors or question your motives, you sense it before they even finish speaking. When a situation is designed to corner you, you navigate around it like a warrior who has trained in every possible combat scenario. This ability isn't just an advantage, it's a testament to the careful forging of your spirit. While others shy away at the first glimpse of trouble, you've grown used to reading the shadows for insight rather than fear. And that, more than anything, baffles those who wish you harm. It's not that you engage in darkness. It's not that you have learned to direct it. You outsmart them because you understand something they refuse to accept. Darkness can serve the light when the light is strong enough to guide it. Chapter 3. The people who wish to see you fall. Look closely at your life's timeline. Have you ever noticed a pattern of relationships that ended abruptly, or acquaintances who drifted away after they realized you weren't as naive as they hoped? Some of them wanted to see you fail without ever stating it outright. They assumed you would remain unaware of their disguised intentions, but your intuition told you otherwise. Their reasons vary. Perhaps they envied your creativity, or they couldn't stand how you always found a way to bounce back from hardship. For some, simply witnessing your unbreakable will was enough to trigger their insecurities. They might smile at you in public, all while hoping you'd stumble in private. Maybe it was a so-called friend who made snide comments when they thought you weren't listening, or a colleague who whispered about your supposed flaws when you weren't around. Over time, you learned not to ignore the pit in your stomach or the tightening in your chest when someone's energy felt off. That gut reaction was your internal alarm, a signal that behind a polite facade lurked ill intent. Yet instead of accusing them openly, you observed. You watched patterns in their words and actions, and you began to see their game for what it was, a desperate attempt to undermine the authentic spark you hold. And here's the twist. By quietly watching them, you became more than a mere survivor. You became a strategist in your own life story, predicting how their negativity might play out. It's not that you wanted to dwell on negativity, it's that you refused to be blindsided. You started holding your power close, sharing your plans sparingly, and letting your results speak louder than your words. Now, many of them are confused because you haven't fallen, and their schemes haven't worked. Instead, you appear more grounded, more certain of yourself. It drives them a bit crazy. They might attempt to escalate their tactics, but each time, you spot their moves more quickly. You've proven that no matter how elaborate their schemes become, your vision in the protection that surrounds you is stronger. This doesn't mean you harbor hatred. Far from it. You simply understand how to protect your energy. You've outgrown any situation that demands you shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable. Those who once doubted you might remain in the shadows, but their influence over you has dwindled. You see their intentions clearly, and your path continues to rise above their pettiness. Chapter 4. A warning and a blessing. In every journey of the chosen ones, there comes a moment of heightened alertness. You sense that danger lurks nearby, even if you can't pinpoint its exact form. This is both a warning and a blessing. You might be noticing that certain individuals have re-entered your life after a long absence. Or maybe new acquaintances suddenly act overly interested in your plans and goals. Pay attention to these interactions. Not everyone seeking your company does so for honest reasons. Some are just curious, but others have motives rooted in jealousy or even a twisted form of admiration. This is where your intuitive radar kicks into high gear. That uneasy feeling isn't paranoia. It's your spirit urging you to stay vigilant. At the same time, this phase brims with promise. The very fact that unusual people or events are appearing means your energy is shifting. You are stepping into opportunities that once felt distant or impossible. People sense that something big is unfolding in your life, an awakening, a calling, a surge of good fortune. That magnetism draws in all kinds of attention. The blessing is that your heightened awareness allows you to move carefully. You'll find yourself double-checking facts, noticing discrepancies in what someone says versus how they behave. For instance, a new friend might praise you publicly but contradict their own words in private. Maybe you're offered a helpful suggestion that actually diminishes your confidence. Recognize these subtle red flags for what they are. At the same time, don't let these warnings stifle your willingness to grow. Caution and openness can coexist. You can hold space for possibility while keeping your inner circle secure. You don't have to share every thought or plan with everyone who asks. This is your life, your narrative. Nobody else needs to know all the details. Only the ones you trust and who have proven themselves worthy. Ultimately, this stage is about cultivating healthy boundaries. Recognize who celebrates your achievements genuinely and who only appears when they sense they can exploit your rising power. The bigger your blessings, the more selective you must become. That's not selfishness. It's self-respect. In protecting your path, you honor the calling that brought you here and keep your spirit free to flourish in the direction it's meant to go. Chapter 5. Breaking Free from Old Patterns. Sometimes the biggest game others play against you is convincing you to remain stuck in outdated habits. They might criticize your desire for change or label you inconsistent for exploring new territories. Yet as a chosen one, progress is woven into your destiny. You can't remain confined to a small comfort zone just because it suits someone else's narrative. Consider how often you might have held back your own growth to avoid making waves. It might have been during a family gathering when you stayed silent instead of expressing your real opinion. Or perhaps at work, you downplayed your talents because you were told to be a team player at the expense of your individuality. Each time you suppressed your true self, you handed a small piece of your power to someone else. But the moment you decided to take it back was liberating. You discovered that what truly threatens those who want you. Broken is your evolving perspective. It's not just your current achievements, but your capacity to envision something greater that rattles them. The game they concocted relies on your belief that you can't surpass the limitations they set. Once you stopped accepting their version of your life, you shattered the rules of their game. These breakthroughs might manifest in small ways at first. Perhaps you decided to learn a new skill, picked up a side project, or started asserting boundaries. As you embraced these changes, you saw how quickly those who secretly opposed you tried to dissuade you. They might have mocked your goals or questioned why you were investing your time differently. Their discomfort signaled you were on the right path. Now you stand at a junction where old patterns no longer fit. This can feel disorienting because it's tempting to slip back into the familiarity of who you used to be. But each time you resist that urge, you grow stronger. The cracks in your old identity are not faults. They're the gateways letting in new light and fresh perspectives. See this chapter as a testament to your courage. You dared to confront what was holding you back and decided not to let past fears dictate your future. The more you embrace change, the less relevant their power games become. Soon you'll realize that the only person who can truly define your narrative is you, and no contrived rules or traps can hold a mind determined to evolve. Chapter 6. The Strength in Revealing Their True Self. What happens when you finally stop dimming the brilliance inside you? It's a question every chosen one faces sooner or later. For years, maybe decades, you may have played small, believing it was safer or kinder to occupy less space. You nodded along at ideas that bored you, laughed at jokes that grated on your soul, and hid gifts that would have lit up every room. Yet the moment you decide to shine without apology, you upend every boundary others once used to fence you in. Naturally, fear of backlash hovers in the mind. Will friends vanish if you speak more boldly? Will colleagues whisper if you confess outside aspirations? Sometimes yes, but the reward eclipses the risk. When you inhabit your truth, you magnetize people whose spirits genuinely resonate with yours and gently repel those who only thrived while you stayed miniature. Think of it as an energetic house cleaning. The departure of mismatched furniture makes space for pieces that actually fit. Prepare for resistance. The first time you reveal a hidden talent, publishing that poem, sharing that business idea, wearing clothes that express your real style, some will mock or belittle. That's their last-ditch effort to keep the hierarchy unchanged. They'll mutter that you've become too much or accuse you of selfishness. But growth resembles rebellion only to those enslaved by stagnation. Their discomfort isn't proof you're wrong. It's proof you're moving. You can unveil yourself in measured steps. Maybe you start by posting artwork on a private page, or confide a dream to a single trusted ally. Observe who celebrates and who offers limp applause laced with warnings. This quiet audit isn't about manufacturing enemies. It's about mapping loyalty. Authentic allies rejoice when you amplify. Disguised critics shrink or sneer because your expansion spotlights their own inertia. With each disclosure, an internal gate clicks open. Energy once burned on masking now fuels creation, problem-solving, and joy. You'll notice physical shifts, shoulders relaxing, breath deepening, because the body loves integrity. Synchronicities multiply. A podcast episode answers a question you only just voiced. A stranger compliments the exact trait you used to hide. An unexpected invitation aligns with your freshly declared direction. Life, like software, updates the moment you install a truer operating system. Of course, exposing the real you can dredge up thorny memories. Perhaps you recall a teacher who mocked your early ambition or a family rule that labeled self-expression as arrogance. When those echoes surface, meet them with compassion. Tell your younger self, we're safe now. We get to choose. That dialogue rewires neuropathways that once defaulted to shrink and survive. Practical anchors help too. Create small rituals that honor visibility. Lighting a candle before pitching an idea, speaking an affirmation while dressing in colors that thrill you, keeping a truth journal where you record moments you refuse to shrink. Over time, these practices turn bravery into baseline behavior. As authenticity solidifies, watch your reality reorganize. Your social circle may contract, but becomes rich with reciprocity. Professional lanes you never noticed appear. Perhaps a side hustle blooms into full-time purpose, or leadership roles find you because genuine confidence feels like gravity. Romance shifts too. Partners drawn to your mask fall away, clearing room for those who adore your essence. The beauty of this journey is the clarity it yields. Decisions streamline because you're no longer managing multiple personas. You post, speak, and act from one integrated source. Opportunities that echo your true frequency land effortlessly. Those that don't glide past without sticking. Even setbacks change flavor. Rejection stings less when you know you are authentic. Better to be turned away for who you are than accepted for a costume you're exhausted from wearing. Eventually, you glance back and realize the game was never about surviving others' expectations. It was about releasing the magnitude encoded in you from the start. Now every choice, what to study, whom to love, how loudly to laugh, radiates power because it springs from alignment, not fear. The shadows that once menaced you now obey your command, forming dramatic contrast so your light can blaze. You are as undeniable as sunrise, and those equipped to journey beside that light will find you just as surely as you have finally found yourself. Chapter 7. A Rising Power That Cannot Be Stopped. You may still ask yourself why your mere presence stirs people so intensely. Why do strangers project grand admiration or simmering resentment onto you before you've even spoken? It's because your frequency no longer fits the average bandwidth. People who abide by fear-based rules can sense, without understanding, that you've slipped the leash. They read it in your eyes, hear it in the measured cadence of your voice, feel it in the unhurried ease of your movements. You are a living reminder that limitations are optional, and that is unsettling to anyone who relies on limitation for a sense of safety. Understand this. Unstoppable momentum was not handed to you. You forged it, hammer stroke by hammer stroke, in crucibles of heartbreak, scarcity, and betrayal. Each time life cornered you, you located a door no one else could see. Each time someone tried to write your obituary, in business, in love, and reputation, you composed the prologue instead, turning the attempted ending into a new beginning. Through that process, your inner compass calibrated itself to nuance. You now detect subtle dishonesty, cloaked envy, the faint tremor of an opportunity arriving. While others shuffle forward, waiting for permission, you read the invisible map that only tests and midnight prayers could reveal. The shadows that once felt like predators became your stage lighting. Attempts to sabotage you now serve as testimonials to your resilience. Detractors unwillingly market your name by speaking it with such frantic obsession. They expected your setbacks to bury you. Instead, the soil became fertile ground. You sprouted roots of patience, branches of strategic thinking, and blossoms of unshakable self-trust. Every rumor sharpened your discernment. Every closed door strengthened your creativity. Every eclipse in your life taught you how to generate your own light. So yes, some will try to anchor you in an outdated version of yourself, recounting your mistakes, quoting your rough drafts, replaying moments when you lack the clarity you embody now. Let them. A lion does not roar explanations to house cats. You don't invalidate your evolution by refusing to re-enter a smaller cage. Your very refusal becomes proof that you have outgrown it. You have, in effect, rewritten the algorithm that once predicted your failure. Their blueprint no longer compiles. The code crashes against the firewall of who you've become. Here's the deeper irony. The game designed to break you turned out to be your training ground. Strategic delays taught you timing. Betrayal taught you loyalty to yourself. Scarcity taught you precision and resource management. Even loneliness became a classroom where you discovered the difference between attention and resonance. Now you carry those lessons like encrypted keys that unlock doors faster than any conventional credential ever could. It is an arrogance its mastery earns you, experiential miles that can't be faked or rushed. And yet, power is never a final destination. Every dawn presents the question, contract or expand. On days when old whispers of doubt try to colonize your mind, you will feel that familiar fork in the road. But remember how quickly you mutate adversity into advantage. Risk has lost its teeth because you have removed the poison from its bite. The unknown is no longer a void. It's a blank canvas delivered to an artist who finally trusts their own brush. There are others like you, chosen ones weaving parallel victories. You may sense them before you meet them. A subtle magnetic pull in conversation, a spark of mutual recognition in a crowded room. Collaboration with such souls is not additive, but exponential. One visionary can tilt a room. A network of visionaries can tilt timelines. Quietly, methodically, you are all hacking consensus reality, swapping out narratives of lack for architectures of possibility. Some will do it through science, some through art, others through simple daily kindness that rewires a local community. Together you form an underground constellation, glittering beneath the surface of business as usual. With this elevation comes responsibility, not the heavy, joyless duty of martyrdom, but the fierce stewardship of your own vibration. Your mood influences metrics you can't see, household atmospheres, workplace morale, even the ecosystems of the spaces you inhabit. Treat your energy as sacred currency. Spend it on conversations that fertilize ideas, on projects that echo your values, on silences that recharge your intuition. Audit your commitments the way a jeweler evaluates gemstones: clarity, authenticity, resonance. Anything cloudy or counterfeit must be set aside. Some evenings you look back at the long corridor of memories, moments where you pleaded for just one sign of progress, and realize the signs were there, disguised as obstacles daring you to alchemize them. You did. That means you can do it again, at higher stakes with grander candles. Each success recalibrates what your mind deems impossible, stretching that definition toward infinity. So stand here, on this precipice that once felt like a fantasy, and breathe in the altitude. Feel the thin, crisp air of new possibilities fill your lungs. Let the panorama etch itself into your memory, because soon this summit will become just another base camp. You'll ascend further, perhaps quietly, perhaps with fanfare, but always with that same internal compass, now polished to a mirror finish. And if ever you wonder why the horizon keeps retreating as you advance, remember, destiny is not a finish line. It's a living river widening as you learn to swim stronger currents. Your rising power can't be stopped because it soars from within, from the eternal flow of becoming. Continue to channel it with integrity and watch how even the staunchest obstacles dissolve into stepping stones. How every attempted deed reroutes you to breakthroughs richer than the ones you first imagined. The legend is already in motion, written in actions more than in words. Walk it out boldly, gently, relentlessly. The world is adjusting its frequency to meet the octave you now